Hey guys, this is Kamikan, and today I wanted to ask the question, is it possible to build generational wealth in this modern time of 2026? Is it possible to generate lasting financial freedom with the comics that you're making? Because I know that's my goal. I know that's something that is possible. I know that's something I've seen others do, and I'm wondering, like, how can I reach that? Like, what can I do to reach that? Because with comics, it doesn't necessarily depend on your artistic ability, like how good you are at drawing, and it doesn't necessarily depend on how good you are as a writer. You can team up with other writers to make your story better or make your work better, but I think with comics, or it comes down to the effectiveness or the efficacy of your ideas. Basically, everything that you combine to put into what is called an intellectual property or an IP is what dictates how popular or how much money your comic can earn. And if you're able to nail down some type of formula or some type of idea collection, which is what an intellectual property is, a collection of ideas that you put together in the form of a comic book, then I think you can, if you are able to get a massive hit or create a comic that sells perennially, which means it always sells no matter what the year, no matter what the age, then you have a good solid foundation for something that can generate high levels of financial success. For me, at this point in my life, I'm personally aiming for a secure financial position where I'm just trying to make a living off of making my comics. And that's what this whole channel is about, is me keep continuing to make videos until I actually reach a time frame or a time period where I'm just making comics and making videos. That is the whole goal of this channel and what I'm doing. But eventually I want to make the types of comics that are able to generate that type of wealth for me. Like, this is something I'm going to talk about in later videos about, like, IP ideas, things that people can gravitate towards, that if you execute the idea well enough, then you can develop an idea that has a massive following that is able to financially pay itself back over and over for many, many years. Because when I think about it, some of the most popular IPs or some of the most iconic IPs are based on very simple ideas. But the execution of those simple ideas is what makes them blow up and what delivers them to the audience in a way that they are able to really gravitate towards and enjoy. When I think about simple IPs, I'm thinking about Some Dad in Texas. I'm thinking about King of the Hill. Like, if you think of King of the Hill, the whole idea behind it is just some father in Texas, and that's it. Like, it's just some father who lives in suburban Texas, and that's the whole story idea. But the execution of it was so solid that it became this big franchise. If we look at Peanuts, the comic strip, it's such a simple idea. It's just kids who live in a neighborhood, and that's it. It's just the main character kid and his dog, and that's it. It's just a very simple idea that was executed brilliantly, and it sells over and over. You see it on, they were able to license out the characters, make movies out of it. You see them on, like, insurance or whatever. You see, like, Snoopy as, like, the mascot for insurance. I forget what insurance, but he's just there. And that's another IP, intellectual property, that blew up massively. If you think about Garfield was so massively popular. Like, that creator is set for the rest of his days. I'm not even sure if he's still alive or passed away, or but he made something that massively hit at the time that it was created, and it just keeps generating wealth for him and for the rest of his generation. So it's like, can we do that now in 2026? Is that possible? And I think it is. And part of what will make that possible is using social media in the way that I'm using it, like with YouTube and doing all these videos and getting better at making the videos, but then using that to translate over to the comics that I'm making and bringing people into the world of the story that I'm creating, and making the comic effective enough as an idea, as an intellectual property, that people gravitate towards it and want to read more of it. I see other creators online doing similar things with their YouTube channels where they talk about the world and their story and their journey as a creator. And I'm just like, man, those are really good ways to introduce people into your characters. I see that with Drelix Comics. I see that with Xander Flicks and Bullet Boy. I see that with White Manga and his comics. So I'm like, okay, these guys are introducing you to the world and the characters, but they're also doing interesting things on YouTube. And if you're able to take the money that you make from those things and keep funneling it back into the business and then building it up until it's like this solid financial tower for you, then I think that is the foundation for having that wealth that you would want to build for your future. Like, it is having the financial discipline, the financial skills to be able to save that money, invest it back in your business, and then eventually invest that money that you make from your business into other things that also make you money, like assets that keep producing money for you time and time again. And another part of it, I think, is thinking of the business as a business, something that you can sell or license out to other creators or other companies, bigger entities that want to use your characters to do the things that they want to do. Like if they want to, let's say, use Dragon Ball characters to advertise a soda or a drink or something like they do in Japan, or how they use them to advertise like ramen or whatever. Those are the types of things that you can do to make your comic idea more lucrative, so that you can eventually build a solid financial foundation for you, your family, and your future generations. So this is something I think about a lot and always working towards. And one of my first steps towards doing that is in the making of my latest webcomic, Saintly. It is a demon chase horror action comedy about two best friends who have to outrun the demon loan sharks that they borrowed from. Basically, it's like Scooby-Doo meets K-pop Demon Hunters without the K-pop. And the story backs the main character into a corner where she has to decide between the hard path to success or lose her soul to the lure of easy money. And we get to see the ramifications of her choice, and if she can hide this deal with the devil from her friend, or if it will tear them apart. And I hope you read my comic in the description and check out the story. It should appear in your email inbox or your spam folder if you don't see it. And I hope you enjoy reading that. It's at the link in the description. And please rate, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.